Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got game 2 of a best of 5. It is between mTwDIMAGA, who is the blue Zerg in the top left, and SlayerSCella, who is the red Protoss player in the bottom right. This is game 2. It is a best of 5. It is from the Gigabyte Nvidia Invitational, and boy oh boy, it should be sweet. So, what can you expect from these two players? Well, referring to game 1, which I'm about to do, if you haven't watched it, pause, go to my channel, watch it. Otherwise, spoiler alert. Game 1, Dimaga really tried to go for a big Baneling Rain, lots of Corruptors still with Colossi, kind of Zergling heavy upgrade type build. And he went for a big push against Sella, and it just didn't work. Basically, Sella counterattacked very, very effectively and won the game right then and there. It was one of those games where both players macroed and kind of ignored each other quite a lot, essentially, and the winner of the big battle won the game. So that is all pretty much normal. Obviously, Dimaga probably this game again going to go for a 14 or 15 pool. Sella going to go for that fast expansion as shown here. Maybe Nexus first, maybe Forge first. Game 1 was that Forge first, of course. So obviously Sella favouring a bit more of a safe build as opposed to a bit more of a macro orientated build. So we'll see how that does play out. So what is there to know about these two players? Obviously, Dimaga is pretty damn well known Ukrainian player. Sella is a South Korean player, so obviously this is a international player, foreigner against a Korean. So obviously one would assume Sella would win this quite rapidly, but of course Dimaga is such a well-known main stage player, very, very good indeed. So hopefully we will see games like that in this series. We do have the Forge first yet again out of Sella here, and I don't think that's wrong in any way. I mean, this is one of the maps where you probably can get away with going Nexus first because it is quite a narrow ramp, but I always think, why not just play it a little bit more safe, and then ultimately you won't die straight away. And obviously Sella is a game up, and that basically means that he's in a great spot to move forward. If he wins this game, obviously he'll put Dimaga at set point, which is going to be so irritating, and also really, really big in terms of the psychological effect of that. Now we do have the cannon coming down, and this is a really, really cool cannon placement. One, it covers all of your ramp, but the reason you put the cannon here rather than say over here is you can then reach to attack these rocks, and this is just a great way of getting the most out of everything you do. By using that cannon to start taking out these rocks, you can take a third quicker, and it's just a fantastic play. Like, seriously, it's brilliant. And really is the difference between someone who is just going to build that cannon wherever they want to, and a top level pro like Sella who builds it exactly where they need to get the most out of it. Meanwhile, no gas down here for either player, which is to be expected. The third base coming out for Dimaga just past the 4-minute mark, and that's really as economical as you can go in terms of opening in a ZvP without doing something crazy risky like a hatch first. But first 2 gas on the way down here for setup. Gas for Dimaga, we'll probably see those at around 40 to 50 supply. Literally, as I say that though, Dimaga just makes me look like an idiot and builds it now. There's nothing wrong with this, it's just getting 1 gas earlier, as opposed to getting the double gas slightly later. But to be honest, he's got an awful lot of drones here. He's going to be able to saturate that quite effectively, and that gas will allow him to get speed out a bit quicker, the layer out a bit quicker, depending on what he aims to do. Now, we will see the creep tumor go down here, which will just start the creep spread. Absolutely fantastic. And now we've got all the drones out. So this is 1 gas against what is 2 gas at the moment. 2 base play at the moment for both of these players, and then of course the third will come into action for Dimaga shortly after. But the interesting thing to see is obviously Sella will take a probe lead momentarily. That is really going to last until the first inject pops from the third base. That's really the point at which the Zerg player will pull ahead in terms of drones, as long as nothing funky goes on. Now we do have the Cybernetics core researching that warp gate. No Chrono Boost coming down on it yet. The Stalker is going to be the first thing out to try and deal with this Overlord, but the Overlord should comfortably be able to get away. So nothing to worry about there. Of course, this cannon still hasn't started being used to take out those rocks yet, which is a bit interesting, but obviously that's just, again, playing on the safer side, doesn't want to rush anything that may turn out badly for him. That Overlord obviously does get away. We do have out now the robotics facility, so 1 gate robo. Obviously on Dimaga's side of the map, we do just have that 1 gas still going away. He has got speed started, and his next 100 gas will probably go on getting the layer out quite quickly, just to allow him to really push into that mid-level tech. Obviously the third base down, the queen is down. Only 3 queens out on the field, which personally I'd love to see another one just specifically for the creep spread. But now this is the point where, as I was saying, If we look at the work he can, still a slight lead here for SlayerSCella, although that's going to change obviously when your opponent is getting 14 drones at a time. Second gas on its way out for /DIMAGA here. Down at SlayerSCella's base, he's got all 4 gas up and running. He's got that +1 researching. Got a good number of sentries on the way out, but nothing else in terms of tech or what he's doing. He literally is just getting as many probes as possible. The double Evo coming down yet again for /DIMAGA here. That is a great choice. Double upgrades, I'm something a major fan of those, so definitely I can't say anything bad about that at all. The Ling, the mass upgraded Ling style, very effective. Obviously Stefano is one of the first people to make it super popular, and of course it still works very well today. And if /DIMAGA is going to stick to that kind of similar build outline, he will need to start his lair relatively quickly in order to get out those infestors really quickly, because it's infestor Ling which works so well. Of course, these rocks blocking the natural for third, incredibly annoying for a Zerg player, especially just Zerglings. They take so long to die. Meanwhile, the rocks here for SlayerSCella haven't even started going down, but an Immortal is out, a second Immortal on its way. And we could even see with a lot more gateways, no even third attempt coming down yet. And this is very likely because it's going to be a 6-gate robo. And basically from that, you can get a lot of sentries out, and also with the double Immortal, do a crazy funky push. But that Overlord, is it going to see the ever important number of gateways? We will wait and see, but no, only sees 1 gateway building, and that could be literally anything from just a little bit of pressure to an awful lot of gateways coming down. So /DIMAGA kind of a bit blind. The lair is on its way, as well as that Baneling nest. But to be honest, it's going to be super tough for /DIMAGA to hold this. It is a very potent build, but the Zergling does spot it. And of course, /DIMAGA is now going to be fully aware of what's going on. We do have a lot of Zerglings running back. We've got Spine Crawlers being thrown down very quickly. He now knows what is happening. He's getting as many Zerglings out as possible, but the +1/1 upgrades will not be done in time. But now, good little moment here, trying to get around on some of those Immortals, because they're going to be the real threat. Obviously, if there were roaches out, but that aren't at the moment. So that's the only saving grace for /DIMAGA right now, is this force not that great at dealing with mass Zergling. As long as the force fields, as long as /DIMAGA forces SlayerSCella to waste the force fields, if the force fields are utilised well, it's going to be big problems, because then obviously those Zerglings won't be able to get into range and deal the damage they need to. But so far we do have those 3 spines. We've got so many Banelings morphing in. There's just an absolute mountain of them. But the Observer is seeing all this movement here. This is a bit of a slip up by /DIMAGA. The macro hatch is on its way out. The 1/1 upgrades have been finished. That means it's 1/1 against just +1. The Zerglings try and run through, but these are what I mean. Amazing force fields go down, completely shielding all of this force away from any kind of damage, although the Banelings did manage to sneak in through the back there, and really those force fields are allowing SlayerSCella to engage so cost effectively. Look at that difference, absolutely huge. Yet again, another great amount of force fields, but the Banelings are being very irritating indeed. But I think SlayerSCella should be able to take this right here. Over double the resources lost already here for /DIMAGA. This third base is looking like it could go down very quickly. Both Immortals still up critically, but 18 Banelings are morphing in, as well as 28 more Zerglings in production. The robotic facility coming down, but the War Prism backup is allowing that easy direct reinforcements. /DIMAGA has lost his third base, and really, unless he crushes this push and does an absolutely insane counter-attack, he is not going to be in a good spot at all, because obviously not only has he lost a third of his income, he's also lost a third of his production capability. Now the Zerglings are moving forward, but these sentries have a lot of energy on them. We can see some good force fields down, and SlayerSCella just doesn't want to rush this, and I think this is just such a great play, because you'll see so many players think, oh, I've got momentum, I've taken out the third base, they'll just keep going, whereas it's so much better just playing it safely and engaging at the right time. But there we see a bit of a mishap there by SlayerSCella. He did allow a lot of Banelings to connect. 2 sentries did go down pretty quick, but still, this force is very well defended, and a lot of Banelings went down there as well. We do have the spines moving back, just trying to get into a more defensive position, although they could get picked off on transit because the creep hasn't joined the third and natural. Some good force fields go down, denying a lot of those Banelings from being able to connect, and just look at this difference. Now over 3 times more resources lost here for /DIMAGA than SlayerSCella, and that is just not where you want to be. When you are on equal basis as a Protoss player, you can't afford to engage even slightly cost ineffectively. /DIMAGA obviously needs to do something massive very soon if he's going to hold this, but I mean, he's attempting to take a third in the other direction, just hopefully he'll go unspotted. That is quite a good move. He does of course have the +2 melee attack on its way down, but obviously he's relying so much now on Zerglings that once this Colossus starts moving across the map and the second one pops, then suddenly /DIMAGA is going to be pretty much in a no-win situation. And That is a real shame because DiMaga is attempting to play well. He's double expanding now, rebuilding that third base, and has got his fourth nearly done. Morphing in more banelings, getting that drop tech yet again, favouring that bane rain, which didn't work in game 1, so I'm surprised he's going for it yet again. But that second Colossus will be out soon. These rocks between the natural and third being taken out, and Sella is probably going to secure his own third base very, very shortly. Doesn't want to give away the Colossuses there, so he needs to go and pick off that Zergling, otherwise obviously that'll be quite a big giveaway. So we will just wait and see, but 2 Colossi against a big Zergling force are going to be absolutely astounding. And I don't really know what DiMaga could do. He's pretty much in a terrible spot right now, and a cancel did go off there, that's quite surprising. But we do now have the Twilight Cancel and a second robotics facility coming out, so just really ramping up that Colossus production. We do have a lot of Zerglings here which dealt with a drop, I do believe, or we're preparing to deal with a drop. The War Prism's still there. Only one Zealot still in there, so to be honest, that's not going to be able to do anything with these Zerglings sitting around. The Queen is there as well, the Overseer as well, and that's basically just going to mean that this War Prism is not going to have fun times because there's units at every single base. The Queen even starting to take that out now, and really sacrificing the Zealot in the best way it can by trying to take out an awful lot of banelings at the same time. But I mean, this is the real key figure. Just look at the units lost, absolutely huge. And while the supplies are pretty equal, the work count isn't really in DiMaga's favour as much as he'd like, and that is going to cause such problems once this third base gets up and running here for Sella, who's getting such a good defensive position. It's going to be exceptionally hard for DiMaga to deal with it, and to be honest, it's a matter of time now in my opinion. DiMaga hasn't shown anything that could really change the course of this battle. It is now cancelling something, I'm not quite sure why it's cancelled. But we do have the Spire coming out now. We do have Generate Creep going on everywhere, and all these Zerglings are following the War Prism, which of course has nothing in it anymore. But there's no way for DiMaga to know that, but of course the War Prism will give essential scouting information. I believe things saw the Spire, which of course absolutely perfect. Knows this base is down here, and now we've got just this huge force, 5 Colossi out now, and of course the High Templar there as well. They'll probably get morphed straight into Archons, I would imagine. There we go. And this is just such a death ball force from Sella. He's got the supply advantage, however slight it may be, and that alone is never where you want to be as a Zerg player. And suddenly we've now got obviously a huge amount of Colossi coming across. The Infestors aren't out, and they're the real essential part to this puzzle. There's no Corruptors out to deal with the Colossi, and basically 4 Colossi, and 5 Colossi rather, and the Archon there. They will wreck, like completely wreck the Zergling ball, and I really don't know what Sella's going to be able to do. Yes, the Baneling Rain is coming in, but to be honest, with some good control, all those Overlords can get picked up before anything happens, and as we see, it's already going down. A lot of Banelings getting dropped, and a great round here by DiMaga, but those Colossi are just absolutely wrecking the Zerglings so effectively. DiMaga is losing so many units here, and just didn't seem to do enough, and yet again, up to about half the resources lost for Sella compared to DiMaga, which at this stage of the game is absolutely massive. We're talking about thousands of resources. 4 Stalkers just happily picking away at the 4th base, and now we've got this natural game completely taken out, and there's the GG from DiMaga, which of course means that Sella is now 2-0 up. So stay tuned for game 3, give this video a thumbs up, that'd be awesome, and subscribe as well. But most importantly, see you at game 3 in a second. Bye for now.